Come on in the room. Welcome to FinOps in Full Bloom. I'm Talia, your friendly neighborhood fam, and today we have the visionary, wonderful, it's been months in the making, Ebony Sykes. Welcome. So glad to have you.
Thank you.
Do you
Thank
mind if
you.
I
I'm glad
read
to be here.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you're here. Could I read your intro really quickly and then you can share any additional details for our heroes about yourself and then we'll hop into the interview. What do you think?
That sounds great.
Okay, I'm going to read it, heroes, to get it right. Ebony Sykes is a visionary founder of InsurSuccess, a firm dedicated to bridging the gap between operational excellence and financial performance in the insurance sector. She created a product that is a financial data certainty product for independent Medicare insurance agents, helping teams pivot effectively in an AI-enabled market. Every one of those words matter. Sovereignty, AI-enabled, being able to pivot, moving in the insurance agency, which can feel like what era are we in the insurance agency? But now AI is changing everything and you are on the pulse, but then you're changing paths. So I'd love for you to share a little bit if there's anything else that you want to add about yourself, Ebony.
Nothing else about myself. Just coming up, I always found the easy way to do things and I always wanted to help. And somehow I've been able to leverage both of those things into helping people find better ways to do their passion and the things that they're trying to do for their Medicare members and keeping our seniors insured.
That touched my heart because I'm a daddy's girl. And so, elders are a huge part of my growth. I believe in sitting
Yeah.
at the knee and listening. And so when we have a chance to circle back, full circle, and care for our elders, the way that they cared for us, I mean, I'm here for it, and you make the path easier. So we'll start with our
Yes.
hot topic. Hot topic, easy question. I always like to warm it up with something super controversial. No, something easy. AI. Is AI for everyone?
Yes. Absolutely.
Even the
AI,
elders?
yes. It helps me figure out how to grow grass seed in the back because I've had a dead spot and HOA finds me every spring. So it doesn't matter if you are trying to find $1 billion in revenue or if you just want your grass to grow. Um, AI is going to help get you there. So I think everybody needs it and can use it and can save themselves, whether personally or professionally, time and money.
So then is AI accessible for everyone?
Accessibility is something that, we have to get into all the areas that are within our society. I think it's easy for us to say that it's accessible for everyone because we all have it in our phones. But when we get to a deeper level, we move from our generation and maybe look at some children that are in school where their peers may have access to AI to help them better understand calculus for derivatives. But then I'm in Kentucky. Everywhere in Kentucky does not have internet service. So it feels accessible. But when we think through everything, the answer is often no, especially in the industry that I'm in. Some seniors are not connected. Some seniors still have a flip phone.
Yeah.
So, how do we bridge that gap and meet our customers, understanding all the things that they have that's impacting how they live?
And that's potent. You mentioned bridging that gap. And from where you are to where the industry is, you've created
Yeah.
that bridge. And now you're just allowing and encouraging independent agents to walk across that bridge from something that felt like you had to comply to everything and give up your freedom to standing on your own with accessible frameworks because of AI, which is a totally different story for most people. They're saying, I'm blaming AI for taking. And you're saying, I'm going to help you. And it's with AI.
Yeah,
So how is your
absolutely.
company disrupting the industry?
Well, there's a lot of things that's happening in our industry right now. You have a lot of agents that are going out on their own for the first time.
Yeah.
You have some that have been in the industry doing different things and moving into different areas. And technology is just causing a lot of disruption there. The government and policy is causing a lot of disruption. So everyone is doing the jobs, whether you're corporate and you're selling insurance and your job is changing, how you do it changes, or if you're selling insurance. So I really want to make sure that they understand that this is a way to help you do what you do better because it can't do it for you. Because as you said, we're serving and we're caring for people and we're nurturing people. And
Yeah.
AI can do a lot of things, but it's not that. And it's just not that.
Yes.
It's not that. And the more we remind people, the more they get it, the more they feel it, and the less afraid they are.
So then how is AI enhancing the end user experience?
In different ways, it depends on the end user, right?
Yes.
Part of this process, when we think about distribution, some think that the agent is the end user. I think the
Yeah.
customer is the end user. And I prefer for AI to disrupt the customer as little as possible because I feel like that's the people portion. I think that's where
Yeah.
our industry tends to go too far because they want them to dial into a 1-800 number and listen to an automated message and talk to someone who doesn't sound like they have any feelings in all of
Oh,
those scenarios. So I like to push AI and technology right into the point that is the Medicare agent, that is the life agent, or anyone who's there trying to support a customer and equipping them with the tools that they need to better service their customer, not replace them as a customer advocate.
yeah. So your product is actually your firm is creating an elevated experience by operationalizing and automating with AI so that the real conversation and connections can be maintained. And you're leaving more time for those insurance agents to have that one-on-one connection because now their framework is set.
Exactly. They're not spending time keying in prescriptions. They're not spending time
Mm,
trying to find the right. They're spending time listening, nurturing, having conversations with, getting to know. They're not rushing out of appointments because they have so much time left. And the other side of that is what does it look like in the agent's life? There are periods of the season where they don't see their family. Enrollment goes over Thanksgiving. People that are agents usually do not enjoy Thanksgiving very much because the process of distribution is one where their families just know they're not there. We'll see you after open enrollment is over, but we have work to do. So you're servicing your members all day, you're doing paperwork all night, you wake up, you do it again. And I want them to go back to their families because good agents will leave the business simply because they haven't seen their kids grow up. They haven't been able to take vacations with their loved ones. And giving them that back also changes the way they care for their customers.
and now you're talking about like that return on investment for your agents. How are you tracking your value, those value drivers inside of your business? Because your business ensures success and it's for the agent. So, how do you even assess value add?
It's easy for my KPI to be as simple as, hey, this is the annual cost of InsurSuccess. And if you just sell two more policies, you're there, right? Like that's the easy value assessment. But the true value is when my customers called me last month. They own an agency. They haven't vacationed together in 10 years. And they said, hey,
Ah,
we just took a 3-week cruise to the Northern Lights. They've been wanting to do that forever. They've never been able to. And they're able to enjoy life, enjoy the spoils of what they've been doing while they're still able bodied enough to do it. They want to do these things before they're on Medicare, right? So, how
yeah.
do you take the anxiety and the work out of the business? Um, and then you layer that in with so many processes and people that depend on you within the industry. So, they needed to distribute money. It was the end of the month. The process for distributing money allowed them to not cancel their cruise because it landed over the end of the month, right?
Wow.
Uh, yes.
Wow. It's transformational. So, value assessment is really lifestyle improvement.
Absolutely.
Could you believe the
Yeah.
concept that AI could improve lifestyle? Like, I don't think people were buying that one. They were like, meh, meh, meh. Maybe you can answer my questions, like, and then ChatGPT can make mistakes. It's at the bottom of everything. But really,
Yeah.
you're creating something. So, what tools are you using to deliver these lifestyle changes in the form of what Ensure Success offers? What tools are you using? Because really, heroes play listen for the playbook. So I'd love to hear your breakdown on how you approach this and then what you're implementing.
Absolutely. Always start with how can I help? The first couple of conversations as a business owner, what keeps you up at night? That
Mm.
conversation is different for everyone, but how we get there is relatively the same. We need to look at your operations and make sure that they are efficient. So I do have a proprietary solution that I put in place for those that need it. Some already have a CRM and it's working for them. It's just not as efficient as they'd like for it to be, or training isn't there. So we can layer in some training tools that are already available. How are you just delivering the message? How well trained are the trainers on
Yes.
changes in the industry, which is a big thing because, again, people have been in the industry for a long time. And Ebony, this is just the way we've always done this is the phrase that I hear over and over again. And I say, well, technology has changed and legislation has changed. The demographic of your customer has changed, right? And so we're going to need to adjust how we do some of those things. In addition to our CRM system, we have some browser based solutions that an agent or a agency can open up for some repetitive tasks, and it goes and it scrubs and it pulls and it analyzes data and it saves it where it needs to be. It uploads, it distributes all of those tedious tasks that no one wants to do. We're automating those things for them on the administrative end, right in their browser, customized for what they're doing, always ensuring that it's human in the loop, um, to make sure that the accuracy is there to deliver first time quality. We're not
Yes.
talking reword. We're not talking, I've done it, but now I'm going to let ChatGPT check it, right? Or, we're going to do this and then this. It's partnership with the end user to help them be more efficient and ensuring that leadership understands that does not mean that you necessarily need to give them more work. Right? I think
Yeah.
that is something that has been lost in the conversation. When we
Yep.
talk about the fear that people have about AI, it's because the narrative is often it's going to replace your job. The reality is, most of us know that when we have a job, we work 8 hours a day, but we really put in 10 to 12. And, with 25, 30%, 40% efficiency, you're getting back to a decent workday time frame.
Yes.
And a
Oh,
lot of companies are realizing that the wrong way. They're seeing AI, they're seeing 60, 70% efficiencies. They think that means a 60, 70% decrease in headcount, not considering the overwork that's on a lot of people. And
absolutely.
then they alleviate the staff, they implement AI, and they're confused that they're understaffed. So that's an important conversation to make sure that leaders are aware of what the transformation will and won't do. And if I can save leaders from making that mistake again, it takes that secondary pressure off the team because they're not understaffed 6, 10, 12 months down the line.
And that's crucial. And you actually gave a really good point. They're looking at metrics, but interpretation of metrics and what metrics to look at. So, what is measurable? What do you measure? I remember you mentioned a pivot pace measurement. And I'd love to hear it and hear if that's how you use to measure and why.
I want to make sure that we can change between tasks quickly, that we can
Yes.
adjust, that we can adjust to our around surroundings, that we can adjust to what the industry is doing. And again, that's something that that human in the loop is critical for, because the
Mm,
human in the loop heard on the news last night that Congress was changing and now we're going to need to adjust what we do. AI doesn't know that, right?
no.
And so making sure that the agility of your company is there is critical. And that's how I measure success. It's when change comes, is your company going to be stuck with another 18-month implementation in order to keep up with an
Mm.
industry that changes for 30 days? Or can you pivot? What is your pace of pivot? How fast can you hear how things are changing, adjust how you do what you do? That adjustment not take you back to a manual step. It's still automated. It's still assisted with AI. You're still keeping your KPIs, but you can pivot when your customer pivots, when the industry pivots, when your staffing pivots. You can do that. And that's what's going to separate the winners from the losers as we move into this AI phase.
So how are you? You walk into a room. Let's say you've got a collection of meetings. You're walking past everyone, just getting prepped in your office. You've had conversations with each one of the people. How are you assessing their ability to pivot? Are you reading the room quickly? Is it something in a conversation? Do you have a question to gauge? Like, okay, this is a great takeaway, I think, for any one of us to learn, being able to assess someone's ability to create a pace and their pace of pivoting. How, is there a question? Is there a way that you're reading it? Is it a signal? Do we glow? Like, I want to know, how do you?
Yes, I do think that there is a glow and there's the deer in headlights. You
Yeah.
know, when you talk about leadership and you talk about the psychology of change and getting your team and creating a team that looks for change, that is
Mm,
inspired by change versus a team that is terrified by change. I can tell if I come up and I say, "Hey, we should adjust the website," and they're like, you know?
pearls, pearls, clutched pearls.
They're not used to pivoting. They're terrified by the pivot, and that means that they've never been shown how to do that well, right?
Yes.
And so there is a glow, and then there's the deer in headlights. And it's not necessarily by what people say; it's how they say it. There's a certain percentage of our communication that is not what we say, and that will tell it every
Every
single
time.
time. I always make sure I can see teams as we're having these conversations, either in person or virtually, because I do need to read the room, see how they're going to respond, so that I can adjust the walk that we take. Is
Yes.
this purely a technology implementation? Do we need to have some management, leadership, organizational change conversations? Some teamwork, some team building? Do we need to just pull someone to the side and say, "Hey, your job is safe. Help me help
Oh,
you"? But this is not a conversation about, how do we automate this so that we can alleviate that role? It's how do we automate so that we can alleviate your stress? And I
that part.
mean that genuinely.
Yeah, it changes it. And so you've learned when to push and to pivot with clients internally with Ensure Success. When are you learning to push? When are you learning to pivot if something's not working or you got to push through? Do you have a story to share?
Oh goodness, ensure success in our 18 months looks so different. And honestly, turn of the year when we first met, we had a great conversation. And I called you back and I was like, oh my goodness, because I was pushing when it was time to pivot. And I was not taking my own advice. I was not reading the
Wow.
room correctly. Um, and it had to do with how we were delivering our products, right? Did they work? Absolutely. Um, could the delivery be more cutting edge? Yes. Right. So now we need to go back in the drawing board. We need to reassess. We need to look at the platforms that we're using internally, right? Not just keep saying, this is our platform. This is what we're going to do. This is how it's only 6 months old. We can't replace it. That's not a proper answer for my client. So it can't be a proper answer for me. I have to
Yes.
look at what we've done and be willing to do things different. And that was when we really started moving towards browser enabled solutions. Um, but also remembering why we do what we do. And Ensure Success is here to help the person that helps the senior.
Yes.
And in insurance, there can be a lot of people that are a lot of steps away from that senior. And Ensure Success had gotten too many steps away. And we needed to focus lower. We needed to look at the employees, not the business. The business matters. The business always matters. The business pays the employees, right? So we
Yes.
can't ignore the business, but our solutions cannot be um, so high up that people aren't properly feeling that change. And it ensures that they're involved in the change. And it ensures that we deliver the correct product in the end.
I mean, it sounds as though you just decided to streamline a product offerings, even if they were in demand, because they were not aligning with your process, which
Mhm.
is this is executive thinking here. Like you could definitely be lemonade stand thinking and saying, well, listen, if everybody wants a curated experience and want me to, hand make these glasses for every glass, I'll make the lemonade and I only charge 17 cents for the lemonade. You're like, this is not scalable. And you're saying this
Right.
isn't working for me. I think that you wanted to center on the customer and a, there's definitely a concept of customer obsession in a positive way. And you are
Mhm.
customer centric. What does that customer obsession, customer centric view look like for Ensure Success?
For Ensure Success, it looks like partnership, it looks like integrity, um, it looks personable. It looks different. It feels different. And I don't just say that because I'm the one that's doing it. I've been in this business, in this industry for a long time. I've walked through a lot of change management and how teams interact once the change is done says a lot about the process. And our teams are still together and whole and
Oh,
happy and thriving. And, if you've been in corporate and change management, there's fist pounding and, there's yelling and arguments and microaggressions and all of those things that come out of fear of the unknown most of the time.
yes.
And it it just feels different. And I appreciate that. And I am committed to not losing that. And like
Yes.
you said, we could have kept doing the same thing the same way. It was working, business was thriving. People were asking, how's he grow? What's the next step? When are you hiring this? And all of these things. But just because what we were doing was working doesn't mean it was right for us. It
Yes.
didn't mean that it was the best for our clients. And the interesting conversation with my peers as they're kind of coaching me through this was, but your clients don't know that it could get better. They're so happy with what they have. And just
Wow.
because you know doesn't mean I don't change the offering.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I love
Yeah.
this. So when you're doing these changes, I imagine because it's a full bloom episode, you're
Yeah.
planting seeds, you're nurturing things, you're blooming. It seemed as though you were blooming in these extra services, but you pruned those. So what new seeds are you planting?
Agentic agents are where we need to go. Those are the people, that those are the tools that allow people to understand that it's not a replacement. And we're all going to have to get comfortable with AI,
Yes.
right? And we have to ensure that it isn't just the project of the day. It's not just something that senior leadership wants us to do. It's not just something that's coming on TV that's, the topic of the day. It's fundamentally changing how we interact, move, and thrive as people,
Yes.
and ensuring that my products feel natural, non invasive,
Mm,
familiar, but not too personable. If you look at my code, I never code AI as a person. Some people I can hear them giving commands, and it's it's natural language, so you can talk to it, and it'll feel like it's a person. I'm very quick to say, "Has the machine involved in this process?" To ensure you're the assistant here, right? You're the little robot that mops my floor every night when I'm not looking. But it's still my house, and making sure that whether you're the business owner or the insurance agent or the solopreneur, that the tools you have, all of them are working for you, but it's still your house.
yes.
And that's critical. So I
I
love
think
that.
that's
I love how our
powerful.
tools are changing.
That is potent. It's still my house.
It's still my
I
house.
love it.
You are just the vacuum.
I love it.
Me too. Love
I
you.
mean, you are so savvy. You're building. You say it so casually, but you are a builder, and that
Yes.
is something that a lot of people don't have. And the
Mhm.
charisma to mix with that, and the acumen, the emotional intelligence to be able to connect to people and have the full spectrum vision to be able to see something, build something, create the bridge to show something, and then to bring the people over. I mean, accolades for you because you're a disruptor, and in the
Thank
best
you.
way possible. So what do you think you're blooming in this season?
Peace. Peace of mind. Yes. For me, for my clients, that is the goal. That's always been the goal.
Oh, I love
The money will
that.
come, the stability will come, the business will come, the business will thrive. Even for me, as I disrupt, I have to remember what it is that we're blooming, and it's peace.
And this piece. I love that. So you're disrupting, and you're disrupting chaos, and you're bringing a path towards peace. What trends are you seeing in fintech, in FinOps, in insurance, in AI? What trends are you noticing that are bubbling up to the surface right now?
Bad processes are what's bubbling up. I wouldn't call it a trend per se, but
Wow.
in industry, I most industries, that's what's bubbling up.
Oof.
All of us in this AI world, it's great to stay on the cutting edge and implement AI. AI, you have to train it. You go in to train, and it's going to train on what you're doing. And then you ask, well, how are you doing what you're doing? And then you realize that people are running in 15, 16 circles before they get where they're going. And so
Yes.
then the business needs to come back and just fundamentally have some conversation, some internal dialogue that says, what are our goals? What are we trying to accomplish? How do we do what we do? And so many companies have grown, and it's been decades since they've had that conversation. And now the
Wow.
world is telling them, you must implement AI. Most businesses aren't ready. That's the
Wow.
reality. That's what's bubbling up to the surface. And I would say for the past 10 years, there have been a lot of businesses that wanted to be on the cutting edge of AI and put those things in place without doing that work. They just automated and trained on the poor things that they were doing. And now that's starting to bubble up in processing cost, right?
Yeesh.
And they can't figure it out. How has AI become more expensive than people?
Listen, this was
Like,
there was a revealing your entire concept here. You know, so many people are coming so many directions. It sounds like they're coming in a lot of directions, but they're saying the same thing. Go faster with AI. And you're saying,
Mhm.
what's your
Mhm.
foundation? Get your
That's it.
foundation, because if you automate this bad process, you've got more bad processes automatically. So you
Automatic.
we don't want
We're just
it.
doing bad stuff faster, right? We're gonna multiply garbage, and you're thinking to yourself, how do we say this? How do we say this professionally? And but it is a lot of times I am the bearer of bad news. But again, that is why, you and I had a conversation about mind over machine and how important it is that we focus on our people more than we focus on our AI,
Yes.
because it's our people that's going to help us iron that out and understand what it means to our customers when we do.
Yes.
It's our people that have probably been telling us, hey, you have me running in circles. I'd rather not to. And you said, oh, it costs too much to change it. So just keep doing it. And now we can have that conversation. We can readdress the people. What have you been feeling? How do you do what you do? What order do you push buttons in? What order does the paper go through? Who touches it first? Who touches it next? Let's have those discussions, right?
Yes.
What are you hearing from customers when you talk to them? How do they feel? Okay, now let's take that back and look at the goal and the mission of what it is that we want to do, and let's automate that,
And then you
right?
start on the right foot. Heroes, now you have just heard Ebony speak about mind over machine. You may not know, but she's got a podcast. So check it
I
out.
do.
And we met actually because I was coming off of set recording FinOps in Full Bloom. And I walked into Ebony, who was about to come on set to record Mind Over Machine. And I said, we have to. We
Yeah.
have to. I have to come and create space for your thought leadership to be just spotlighted and centered. And I mean, the things that you've shared, changing the measuring system to lifestyle improvement, and not how many
Yes.
tokens or how fast you're going, changing the concept of assessing teams to how can you pivot and what is that pace.
Yes.
Unreal. Looking at AI and having such a discerning eye because you are a creator in the tech space, and you're able to build for a group of people in a complete industry to fill a pain point and create a bridge that where there wasn't one. You are able to say, I know I should be impressed. I know that many people are saying that we are impressed by AI. But what I'm
Yeah.
noting is that there's an unimpressive amount of bad processes happening. You're kind of scaling bad processes. And so you using AI for that is unproductive. And that's,
Yeah.
I mean, this is how you're a disruptor. You're a game changer because you have created um, the ability for people to step outside of the fear of AI, make it approachable, and use it to self improve. Why? Because this is still your house.
Still my house.
I
That's right. Still my house.
love it. All
You
right.
are welcome to come, but you can also go,
But you can
right?
also,
And that's the thing, if we can remember, there is nothing that will ever match human ingenuity.
yeah,
You're not going to convince me of otherwise.
there-
When that machine breaks, it's broke. Right? But it's doing things that people know how to do. We're training it the totality of human knowledge. Is it centralized? Yes. But again, remembering the hierarchy, it comes from us. The
yes.
math, the ones, the zeros, the processes, the knowledge, all of those things come from us. Um, AI can't create new.
Not at
AI isn't
all.
going to do a product that no one else is doing. It is going to maybe show you how to improve on something else that's there,
But
but
we
it's
have
our
the
house.
sauce. I think it's powerful to remember that because you can feel overwhelmed and pushed by the waves, but you're the ocean. You're the
Yeah.
always. All
What
right,
do they
last
say?
question.
Devotion to the ocean. That's us.
Yes. Since it's your house, what do you play? in your house on your get it done day, what are you listening
Oh
to?
god, you're gonna make me say it out loud. The honesty comes. Okay, so I get up and it starts with I must admit.
What? Yes.
That is the beginning of my playlist. So shout out to Ti. He has a song about the money. You all have to go find it on your own time. I'm not going to give you a teaser on it. That's usually what starts the okay. We've got to figure this out. It is very important when it comes to FinOps. I actually recommend it to all of your audiences. It's about the money, guys. Follow the money.
Follow the money.
So that's usually when I need to get things done. And then Marsha Ambrosius has just been on repeat these days.
Her
Yeah.
voice.
Oh,
Her voice.
she could
It's
sing anything.
if you're in the same booth as Michael Jackson, you're on another level.
That's
Period.
it.
I
That's
remember
it.
Stevie Wonder spoke about Michael Jackson when he heard him, and he was like, how does this man still have a throat? Like, I don't know how he's hitting all of these notes all of his days. His capacity is impressive. Actually, that's what my playlist is right now, Michael Jackson. Somehow we ended up back there.
That's how I got to Marsha though. I was all the hype about the movie was coming out and she did butterflies.
She did.
And I was just like, oh,
It's a
I was
dream.
lamenting that we had lost our giant. And then I was like, oh, wait, we do still have some amongst us.
We still
So
do.
Marsha and Jill Scott came back into very heavy rotation.
Oh, and she just dropped a new one. So I'm excited.
Oh,
I can't wait. I have loved hosting you. I am so grateful that you took a moment to come through and share. I had a good time. Did you have a good time?
I had a great time, but we always have a great time when we talk.
Absolutely.
Oh,
It's refreshing. I mean, you're manifest inspiration. Like I can't even use the word inspiration because it feels like it's the beginnings of something and that's how I had to put it together. Like you
mhm.
actualize.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's energy that comes out and what makes the world alive, you're part of that. And like
Thank you.
you're that wave. And so I'm grateful to just have been like a part of this. So thank you
Well,
very
I am,
much.
no, this is great. Sometimes we can get so deep into it that we forget what we have done. So, no, thank you for making me reflect and think through the path that we have had. Even in this, I'm thinking through more stuff that I can do. So it's exciting. And next time we talk, I'll tell you all about it.
Oh, I can't wait. All right. Do you want to help me say so long to our heroes? 3, 2, 1. Say see you later, heroes.
Absolutely.
All right. 3, 2, 1. See you later,
See you
heroes.
later.